Long ago, QMC began with Funnel Endurance, and 47 events later, we are here with it as the finale for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. Hello everyone, I am your host Quack, and today we have the championship battle to end all championship battles. The 4K Pixels are 7 points behind the Ivy League, both teams already well past 200 points. Meanwhile, 4 teams are fighting for the podium, but of course all eyes are on those top 2. The 4K Pixels have to advance in order to challenge here. This will be the traditional Heats of 8 system, and look at these 28 funnels the teams will have to descend. An enormous track indeed, way larger than anything we've seen in QMC history, and we begin, of course, with the demo run. The Event Horizons, Mach 5, Fidus Praxi, and the Galactic Empire will be running one last time to show how these events work, and of course we know so well from Funnel Endurance how it goes. We've seen it in every QMC season, and now it's finally back here as the finale, and of course this will be sped up because this is quite a long course, much longer in time than anything we've seen prior, even Funnel Descent earlier this season, where we saw the Funnel Endurance record get broken by the 4K Pixels, so off to a good start. They are trying to challenge that championship lead set by the Ivy League. But of course the Event Horizon's looking pretty solid here as we go through the translucent funnels. We've seen them before, they're very difficult to overtake in, and then we transition into the orange section where there's a lot more chaos, but still not nearly as much chaos as the green funnels. There are 2 of them, and they're going to be spread out across the course. We have this first one about the halfway point of the track where Mach 5 is struggling through there, as Fidus Praxi as well, and ooh, it looks like the Event Horizons even fell off the course in the orange section, something that can happen in this enormous course. There might be DNFs as we head to the second orange section. Several more of these chaotic funnels where you can make overtakes, make passes happen, as you want to make sure to stay as high as you can, not fall down too quickly. And then we head into the final green funnel where all the chaos can happen, and this is where it truly becomes for all of the marbles. Mach 5 looking like they're going to fall through first here, but with so much chaos, it's possible Fidus Praxi will knock them aside, and it looks like they will. Now it's going to be dead even here. Who will fall in first? It looks like they're both going to get very close, and they're losing speed. I think Fidus Praxi might just be doing it, but Mach 5 falls through first, and Fidus Praxi will be winning the final demo run of QMC Season 3. Of course, you can see the times, 4 minutes and 26 seconds, an unbelievable time. Of course, that will reset the record that was just over 2 minutes from Funnel Descent earlier this season, set by Byte. Byte will not be in this event, but their teammate Nexus will be. But of course, we are getting ready to begin the main event. The Ivy League will be in the first heat, the 4K Pixels in the second one, but of course the Ivy League, if they advance here, they will force the 4K Pixels to get a medal at minimum to win. Meanwhile, Team Pixie and the Snapping Turtles also fighting for an overall podium here, and so it begins. It looks like Team Pixie off to a decent start right here, trying to stay wide. Of course, there's always a lot of chaos here, but the Ivy League, so far, it's not looking great, as they're one of the first ones to fall through into the second funnel. The Team Pixie, though, looking solid here, as they will be the last ones remaining. Usually, Yertle from the Snapping Turtles is so great at this event. They have 2 gold medals in it. They've never lost a heat in it even. But so far, they're not leading. They are getting their way into second place. The Azure Diamonds also in the advancement zone, but the Ivy League's still at the bottom of the table at the moment. The Avocados and Flying Saucers also down there. The Jelly Jammers as well. All of those teams way lower in the standings, but the Ivy League haven't got a bottom half finish since balancing at the very start of the season, though now they're starting to work their way through. They're trying to work their way through the field. They've gotten past the Jelly Jammers and the Stone Golems, of course, only for just a moment, as now they're right back underneath the Jelly Jammers. Team Pixie trying to stretch that lead now over Yertle, as the Flying Saucers, the home team, have worked their way into third place now. The home team, could they finally be on for a good finish this season? They haven't had one in about half a season at this point, but either way, there's still plenty of time for things to change with this enormous course. The Ivy League still not in the advancement zone as they're trying to work their way back around the Jelly Jammers. The Avocados starting to slip a little bit, but they're still in the advancement zone for now, just barely over the Azure Diamonds, who have fallen out of it. The Ivy League now have made up some ground. They're around the Jelly Jammers. They've made it past the Azure Diamonds as well. They're in 5th place now. If they can make one more overtake, they will be in the advancement zone. Meanwhile, Yertle from the Snapping Turtles is starting to close in just a little bit on that lead from Team Pixie. And of course, we're seeing how things move pretty slowly here in these translucent funnels. It's difficult to make overtakes, as the Stone Golems are the first ones to drop through into the orange section. The Jelly Jammers just follow pretty quickly, and it looks like the Azure Diamonds not too far off that. The Ivy League still not in the advancement zone, and they fall through very quickly into the second orange funnel. Meanwhile, the Stone Golems with Construct way behind the rest of the field is starting to look like it's too late for them as the Snapping Turtles have taken the lead away. They've wrestled it out of the hands of Team Pixie, and these two teams fighting for an overall podium are definitely fighting for it. Ooh, but it looks like Team Pixie might have gotten back into a wider orbit, and they have Team Pixie back in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, the Snapping Turtles will have to settle for second place right now. The Ivy League still falling through as they're only just in that 6th place spot, but now that the Azure Diamonds shove them aside, and now they're back up into 5th. If the Flying Saucers fall through here, the Ivy League will be in provisional advancement zone. It looks like they will, but of course they're sharing a funnel with the Azure Diamonds. A big gap now starting to form between the top 3 and 4th place with the Ivy League, but this is still what the Ivy League want to see if they can hold this position as some marbles starting to fall through into the second half of the course now. And there's a lot of chaos in that green funnel. The Azure Diamonds almost about to fall through, but it looks like they will get shoulder to side. Oh, not quite. The Flying Saucers and Jelly Jammers will outlast them, and it looks like Team Pixie... Oh, Team Pixie flies off the course! Team Pixie's going to get a DNF. Oh, a disaster for the team currently 3rd place in the standings, and now the Snapping Turtles have a big opportunity here. This battle between the two green teams for the lead is turned into the battle for the lead now, as the Snapping Turtles have the advantage over the Avocados. The Ivy League also into 3rd place now, really thanks to that Team Pixie DNF, but either way, things are really starting to heating up now as we're getting into the later parts of the course. How many times have I said this before, but Ural now has a near funnel lead over 2nd place in this funnel endurance event. The Ivy League, though, is starting to slip a little bit. They've fallen back past the Azure Diamonds and the Jelly Jammers, and it's really not looking good for them. The home team, the Flying Saucers, also trying to get back into the advancement zone. It's so close for them right now. The Jelly Jammers as well don't have a single medal in the season. They're trying to get one in the 11th hour, or perhaps the 16th hour even, as the Ivy League starting to fall through once again. It's going to be very close for their advancement here, heading into these final few orange funnels. The Stone Golems, it looks like, will be the first ones into the final funnel, and it's not looking good for them. Our Season 2 hosts have been pretty quiet this season outside that Elimination Race Gold, and now it's really looking dire for them as the Jelly Jammers fall through. The Ivy League, though, in that penultimate funnel, but they will get shouldered aside by everybody else, and now 4 marbles are in the green funnel. If the Ivy League can just hold this position, they will be advancing to the final. It looks like who will be the first to drop through? It will be the Flying Saucers. Heartbreaking for the home team. The Stone Golems fall through next. The Jelly Jammers will not be getting their first medals of the season, and the Azure Diamonds may have been the 4th to fall through, but thanks to that Team Pixie DNF, they will be making it, and that means the Ivy League can wipe the sweat off their brows for now. They will be moving on to the final, trying to get past the Avocados here, and it looks like they will. The Ivy League have done it, and the Snapping Turtles almost knocked them aside, not quite, but that means, how many times have I said this before, Yertle from the Snapping Turtles will be taking the win in this heat. The Yertle is unstoppable in the funnels. It looks like they'll be taking the record here, too, with a 4-minute, 30-second time. Can they get to 30? They will, and they're just dancing around now. They will fall through, but another amazing heat for Yertle, an unbelievable marble. They've been so strong in funnel endurance, and even very last event, with Big Tower, they got a medal, and now they're trying to get yet another one here to put their team on the overall podium. And, of course, with Team Pixie DNFing here, that is terrible for them, but that does mean the Snapping Turtles have a big opportunity to pass them in points, but, of course, it's going to take a medal to do it. We'll have to see if they can hold on to that in the final, but there was so much chaos in this one. Look at that, 3 marbles all tumbling over each other, falling into that hole in the green funnel, and the Ivy League just barely managing to hang on. This was a very beneficial heat for those green teams. There was where Team Pixie fell off, just overshooting the ledge of that orange funnel. It did not happen for them. Heartbreaking again for that team. They medaled in both of the previous 2 funnel events this season, but it's just not going to happen today. Of course, another team that's heartbroken here is the Jelly Jammers. They were looking so strong here. They came so close to advancing if they just lasted against the Azure Diamonds, but they will not be making it. They will not be getting a medal this season. Another disaster for them. The Azure Diamonds will be making it, though. They're one team, they only have a single medal thanks to distance drag earlier in the season, but there you can see the heat results. With a 4-minute and 32-second time, Yertle will be taking the win here, and the Jewelweed, the captain of the Ivy League, gets it done. Of course, there is that new record I mentioned earlier, but now all eyes turn to Heat 2. This is where the championship could be decided. The Ivy League fans are screaming now. They know that it's within their grasp, depending on how this heat goes. But of course, we have to see as all eyes turn to Nexus, the captain of the 4K Pixels. If they advance here, they still have a chance, but if they do not, it is over. And we are away. The Red Rockets and Stingrays fighting for the overall podium as well here. We'll see if they can hold on for advancement. Now that Team Pixie's gone, it looks like the Pollen Puffs will be the first ones dropping on through here, as the 4K Pixels still swamped in the middle of the pack, but they do have a top 3 spot for now. Of course, we know how fast things can change in these first couple funnels, as the Chili Peppers will be the ones starting off with the lead. They've been very quiet so far this season. They only have a single medal, that bronze back in Marathon, but the 4K Pixels, unlike the Ivy League before them, are not waiting to make their moves. They're going to start in the advancement zone for now. Ooh, they're going going to get shoulder aside, and suddenly they're not anymore. The King Crabs take that spot away from them. The City Lights also up there right now. Both of those teams toward the middle of the standings would like to get higher up, though, as the 4K Pixels taking a very wide arc, and now they're trying to get back around the King Crabs. It's not going to work, though, as Fiddler jukes past them. The Chili Peppers now have a big lead already, despite how early in the heat we are, and it's already going to be difficult for anyone to catch them in the next few funnels, as the Pollen Puffs have made up a few spots. They're now around the Loaves of Bread and the Red Rockets. Speaking of which, the Red Rockets at the very bottom of the table right now. They've struggled in this event multiple times before, and unfortunately those struggles only continuing despite sending a new member for this one. Booster is so far not doing it what they need to do here, considering Team Pixie didn't make it. They could have a chance at that overall podium spot, getting their third overall podium season in a row. That would be amazing for the team in red, but right now it's just not happening, as the 4K Pixels in the advancement zone now. They've gotten their way past a few more marbles, and Fiddler from the King Crabs, it's starting to slip from them. The King Crabs have been great in the past 2 seasons, this time not so much, but they'd like to at least get one good event left to redeem themselves. The Red Rockets are the first ones into the orange section now. The Pollen Puffs quick to follow. The Loaves of Bread not too far after that. The Loaves of Bread this season have been toward the middle of the standings as well. They just haven't had quite a breakout season yet, and unfortunately it's not going to come today. The King Crabs drop on through now, as the 4K Pixels have gotten into second place. I haven't even noticed, but now they have a big gap back to the Stingrays in third. They're trying to hold on and let the Stingrays fall through as far as possible before falling into the orange section, and so far it is working, as Nexus finally drops on through into the orange section. The 4K Pixels know what they have to do to still have a fighting chance at the title here, as the Chili Peppers now have an enormous lead. It's going to be difficult for anyone to catch back up to them, but of course we saw how Team Pixie flew off the track entirely. We'll see if the Chili Peppers can play it safer than that. The Pollen Puffs will be dropping through the green funnel very quickly, and they're already on to the second set of translucent funnels, as the Red Rockets are not too far behind them. The Loaves of Bread also circling around, trying to avoid Booster there, and they will successfully, as the King Crabs trying to get into the advancement zone, but of course they need the Stingrays to knock them aside, and it looks like they might. Oh, yes, they will. And the Stingrays are now poised to fall through here, but they're going to be orbiting in reverse here. That's not going to work. And the Stingrays have avoided it for now. They're going to stay in the advancement zone. The 4K Pixels, though, not too far behind. And I didn't even notice, but Lamp from the City Lights has gotten around the 4K Pixels. Lamp did great in this event back in Season 2, and so far it's working out for them as well, as the Chili Peppers way high up at this point. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to close that lead, as the City Lights hold on to second place. The 4K Pixels, though, in third place. It's by no means safe for them yet. As we look farther down, the Pollen Puffs really starting to struggle now, as the Stingrays come through the translucent set of funnels. The two red champions dueling for that the fifth place spot, of course not dueling for the advancement zone, as the Nexus starting to fall through a little bit. It's not looking great for them, as the Pollen Puffs are farther down. The two red teams behind that, and then the Loaves of Bread, but do the 4K Pixels have enough left in the tank to hold on to this top 4 spot? The Ivy League watching with bated breath now, as the 4K Pixels still in 4th place, as their name would suggest, but they need to hold on to that spot. The Pollen Puffs orbiting the whole of the green funnel now. They will most likely be the first to drop through unless one of these teams knocks them aside. It looks like they're trying to get in the way, try to disturb the Loaves of Bread or the King Crabs here and get into that advancement zone just barely somehow, but it doesn't look like that miracle is going to come, as all of the teams are staying wide and the Pollen Puffs drop on through. They will be the first team eliminated from Heat 2. The Loaves of Bread and Red Rockets side by side here, as the Nexus has fought their way into the top 4. They just need to stay wide of these 3 marbles, and they will be advancing to the final. The Red Rockets fall on through. This is the end of their season. The Loaves of Bread looking like they're about to, but Fiddler shoves them aside, and that will be the end for those two as well. That means the 4K Pixels have guaranteed advancement to the final. The championship battle is not over yet. The Ivy League cannot breathe a sigh of relief just yet. As the Stingrays fall on through, they have a chance at the overall podium as well now. The 4K Pixels finally come on through, and Lamp from the City Lights, a team that may not have much to play for this event, they're still going to fight as hard as they can. And they are still orbiting around. Very impressive for Lamp in that green funnel. They will finally drop on through. But the Chili Peppers, look at how enormous their lead is. 3 entire funnels ahead of second place. And very impressive for this team that's been so quiet this season. But Capsicum did not want to pump the brakes here at all. They're going to keep on spinning around, and they're trying to get the record. I think they've already guaranteed the record by quite a bit. Could they get past 5 minutes? An unthinkable time for funnel endurance, but it looks like they've pretty much guaranteed that at this point, as long as they don't instantly fall through. And they will not. Capsicum, the captain of the Chili Peppers, an amazing time for them. They will surely be taking the record now. Over 5 minutes. Unreal for this team that has struggled so much this season, but it looks like they might finally be getting on the right foot. Of course, it's a bit too late now to get into the overall top half, but they might still be able to salvage something toward the middle of the standings rather than the bottom 4 once again. The Chili Peppers have fought hard this heat, and they've really managed to completely skate past the rest of the teams. They finally drop on through, and an amazing time for them, past 5 minutes and 20 seconds. But of course, we look back at the replay, all eyes turning once again to the 4K Pixels. They did so impressively in this heat, just barely holding on to the advancement throughout, and if a few things had gone wrong for them, it might have been all over right there, but they will still have a fighting chance heading into the final. Of course, with the Ivy League also moving on, they need the Ivy League to finish at least third or lower, and the 4K Pixels will have to get top 2 at least. We'll go over the permutations once we see the full results, but the Pollen Puffs as well, also really struggling here. Unfortunate for the team that's been bottom 3 in the past 2 leagues. It looks like that streak might only continue here. The Stingrays danced around the wrong way for a bit with their captain Sting, an interesting strategy, but it seemed to work out for them as they got past their rivals, the King Crabs, and that was about the last time we saw the advancement zone even change. We've seen how the best marbles can really get ahead in the end, and the Red Rockets also put up a valiant effort to try and get by, but it just wasn't going to be enough, and the Red Rockets unfortunately not going to be able to end this season on a high note. Of course, they do still have a chance at an overall podium with the Team Pixie going down. It's really going to come down to them, the Stingrays and the Snapping Turtles, for third place overall, as Nexus gets it done. 3 captains and a reserve moving on to the final from this heat. Toast from the Loser-Bread, unfortunately not going to make it. And there is that record. 5 minutes, 24 seconds, and 4 tenths is an unthinkable time. Very impressive for the Chili Peppers. Here we can see the bottom 8. Wondra from Team Pixie, the only marble to DNF here. Again, heartbreaking for that team, fighting for the overall podium. But of course, now we look at the standings. The Ivy League have 226 points guaranteed now. The 4K Pixels 7 behind that. And those are the 2 contenders. The 4K Pixels need to get top 2 at least. If the 4K Pixels get the top 1, then they're going to need the Ivy League to finish 3rd or worse. If they get silver, they'll need the Ivy League to finish 4th or worse, and we'll have to see if those come true. But all eyes now on those 2 as we begin the final for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. Of course, Yertle from the Snapping Turtles also fighting for the overall podium. So Sting for the Stingrays. So much to play for here, as it looks like the 2 championship contenders are still in this one. The Nexus finally falls through into the second funnel, but Jewelweed from the Ivy League will be leading after the first funnel. This team that's dominated so much of the season, as Nexus is so far struggling in the bottom half. Of course, there's still so many funnels left, but the Ivy League are definitely starting off on the right foot here. Meanwhile, Yertle having an uncharacteristically poor start to this heat in the bottom 3 at the moment, but so is Nexus. Nexus needs to be making moves now. They were the gold medalist in triathlon. They're even fighting for the MVM title as well. So is Yertle here, but of course right now they don't care about that. They just care about winning this championship, as the Ivy League now have a big lead over the second place. The Stingrays in second right now. I think if they held onto this spot, they might do enough to get onto the overall podium for the first time. The Stingrays have been top half in both of the previous 2 QMC seasons. They might be the best team to never get on the overall podium, but of course there's still so much to play for now, as the Avocados in 3rd place as well. They're another team that really wants some points here, dead last in the standings right now, trying to finally escape that spot, as the 4K Pixels are in last right now. They're going to get shouldered aside by the City Lights, but either way, it is really looking dire now for the team trying to challenge in their rookie season. The Ivy League, their lead is starting to slip a little bit as the Stingrays are closing in a bit. The Snapping Turtles as well. Those 2 teams fighting for the overall podium with everything they've got. The Azure Diamonds also coming up into things. They're one of those teams fighting to get into the overall top half, as the 4K Pixels have made up a couple of spots here, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough yet. They're going to need some chaos to happen in the orange section. The Avocados are so far not looking great, as they're the first ones into the orange section. The 4K Pixels will not be the next ones. That will be the City Lights here. But either way, the 4K Pixels, they're going to juke past the Chili Peppers as well. They might not be out yet, as the Ivy League still have the lead, though. The Azure Diamonds fall on through now as the 2 aquatic animal teams going at it. Yertle takes second place away, and the Ivy League still just barely wide of them. They will hold on, though, through the translucent section. The 4K Pixels now up into 4th place. They've worked their way through the midfield now, and they're trying to challenge for that top 2 spot, but of course, so far, it's still not happening for them, as the Ivy League dropped through several spots. Now they're outside the top 4. Suddenly, things are falling away for the Ivy League, as now they're within the grasp of the 4K Pixels. Of course, they still need to keep falling here, and the 4K Pixels need to climb all the way to the top 2. Now the 2 championship teams in the same funnel, in that penultimate orange funnel, of course, not fighting for the lead, and not even close right now. There are several marbles still above them, and now they're in the green funnel. Who will be falling through first? This could have major championship implications, as they're both orbiting the hole. They're coming very close. The Ivy League will fall through first, and the 4K Pixels now know what they have to do. They're going to work their way past the Stingrays now. They only need to gain 2 more spots now in order to be in position to win the championship. The 4K Pixels not going to be able to juke past Yertle here, as the Chili Peppers have taken the lead from them, and the Azure Diamonds also fighting for it. Everybody very close in that green funnel, but so far no moves going to be happening here. The 4K Pixels, though, still a bit of a ways behind these top 3 as we descend down on into the second half of the course. Yertle takes the lead once again. They've yet to lose a heat here, and they still do not want to lose another heat of Funnel Endurance. I say another, but they never have, as the 4K Pixels starting to fall through this orange section. They don't want to fall past Lamp there, as the Ivy League really starting to fall through now. It may be too late for them to secure that medal spot, which will guarantee them the championship. But now the 4K Pixels are joined by the Chili Peppers. They're not going to be able to juke their way past them, though, and they still will have to fight for it in these final few funnels. It's all coming down to the end here as the Yertle still holds the lead. The 4K Pixels need to make a couple more spots, but they make one of them right there. The Azure Diamonds fall through, and now the 4K Pixels are one spot away from being in position to win the championship. The Stingrays and the Ivy League are falling into the final funnel now. It looks like it may be too late for the Ivy League to guarantee that spot. They're going to have to pray that the 4K Pixels fail on their mission. The Ivy League are falling through now. It looks like they're just about to fall into that hole, and as their orbit gets more and more elliptical, they will. But the 4K Pixels have fought their way into second place now. It looks like they're trying to fight their way into the lead now. Yertle from the Snapping Turtles has been so impeccable this heat, but it's starting to slip away from them as Nexus has the lead. It looks like Lamp and Mole are going to be falling through. Valiant efforts for those teams. They're currently in the bottom half of the standings, but now it's all coming down to this. Will Nexus be able to hold on to that second place spot? They're going to get shoved aside by Yertle, and now only 4 marbles remain. Nexus falls through. If they can stay wide of these 2 marbles, they will be champions. The Chili Peppers are getting close. The Azure Diamonds are getting close. Neither one is so far able to disrupt the 4K Pixels here, but they're going to make contact. Will the 4K Pixels make contact? It doesn't look like, oh, they might, but they're going to get shoved aside. 1 marble falls through. Will someone else fall through? Yertle looks like they're about to lose their momentum. Will Nexus knock them aside? No! And the championship is decided. The 4K Pixels have gone from prodigal rookies to the champions of Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. The Chili Peppers hold on for the gold medal here, but amazing for the rookie team. They've come so far. After seeing the Snow Skaters leave, they finally knew they had the opportunity to join this league, and join it they have. An amazing season here for them. 10 medals, if you can believe that. More than half of the season they've spent on the podium. The Ivy League, an absolutely devastating ending for them. They led for parts of this heat, almost half of it really, but it all fell away in that orange section, and the 4K Pixels slowly but surely managed to work their way through the field, and they got it done in the end. Nexus will be the most valuable marble this season. We've always seen one of the marbles from the championship team get it done. An amazing season overall for them. One of the best in marble sports history. I believe they will get over 230 points. An unreal season for them and for the Ivy League. Both of those two coming so amazingly far. And of course, this is going to be another great event as well for the Snapping Turtles. They may not have won this heat. This is the first time Yertle hasn't won a heat in Funnel Endurance. Still an amazing bronze for them, though, and I think that will be enough to take the overall third place spot. The Snapping Turtles have sealed their way into Season 4, and of course the Chili Peppers getting one last gold to end this season. Amazing for the 4K Pixels. They've gotten it done. The rookie team. No one thought this would happen, but they have done it. They've climbed the mountaintop, and what a mountain it has been to claim the championship for this season. They may not have gotten the record here, but of course, I don't think they'll care one bit, as they will stand on that podium, and this, of course, is the end for Quack's Marble Clash Season 3. I hope you will join us for the closing ceremony, as 2 of these teams will be on the overall podium. So thank you all so much for watching this amazing season of QMC. I've been your host, Quack, and enjoy the closing ceremony.